What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end and hear the full story and all the details in the case. For all the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Okay, I got a little disclaimer for y'all. These two individuals haven't been sentenced yet. They innocent until proven otherwise. This is a requested video, but let's get right into the story. Being a teenager is an exciting time in life. Everything seems so fresh. The world seems new to you, and life is way funner. Even going to the mall or a movie was lit back then. But as we get older, bills, responsibilities, and real problems kick in. That excitement fades little by little, to the point you have to pump yourself up to do the same things you used to love as a teenager. But like I tell both my daughters, that age is also important too. In developing, learning certain skills like work ethic, nothing in life is free, or having discernment for people you hang with or associate yourself with. Them years can set the tone for your future. For example, my mother had me at 15, so of course all her dreams and goals came to a halt, and real life came in. I commend people that navigate through them high school years, make mistakes, learn from them, and go on to do great things. But some things either be too serious to the point of no return, or can scar or traumatize a person to the point something that happened at 14 years old can still haunt them as a 40-year-old person. Being young and bright-eyed, we felt like we knew it all and had it all figured out. But in certain environments, life hits real hard. And nowadays, in some places, at about 15, you are considered grown. I remember growing up, I always wanted a big brother to help guide me through life. But what if your brother leads you astray? And unfortunately, some teens never get to the point of realizing their mistakes because they lose their life at an early age. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will be taking it to Memphis Teen to discuss a case of a young man who lost his life at work, allegedly by the hands of an old friend and co-worker who was just 16 years old. According to sources, back in 2021, at the time, 17-year-old Contario Servion was a high school student at Melrose in Memphis. The young man was said to be funny, hard-working, and family-orientated. Just like most inner-city teens, the young man was trying to navigate the streets, stay out of trouble, and find his way in life. After a few hiccups, Contario started to figure it out and wanted to be successful in life. He started going to church, volunteering in city events, even meeting with pastors to come up with solutions about the crime in Memphis and things to keep kids out of the streets and out of trouble. He was building his character and faith up. And according to a former teacher, she knew the young man was special when one day she was going through something personal. She stated she didn't tell no one at the school, and on lunch break, Contario came into her classroom and asked could he pray for her. His grandmother and grandfather would state the young man really got on his grind once he found out he had a child on the way and vowed to be a family man, make money, and provide for his seed. He would start cutting grass, raking yards, and doing odd jobs in the community while applying for more steady work. Eventually, he would land a gig at a Five Guys burger spot on Ridgeway Road in East Memphis. Things seemed to be falling in place for the young man, now having a steady job. Allegedly, he had a co-worker, a 16-year-old young man named Dejamon Payne. The two were cool, according to sources, and both were trying to stay out the streets and make legit money. But somewhere in the mix, the two teens would start having problems with each other. It's not clear what the beef was about. Dejamon would eventually leave the job, and being that he was not working there anymore, you would think the beef was over. Having a kid on the way, Contario kept the job to make a way for his unborn child. But unfortunately, the teen would not live to see the birth. Dejamon had an older brother, 19-year-old Xavion Payne. And allegedly, the young man felt like the beef with him and Contario was so serious to the point he asked his big brother for a blick and to take him up to the job one day. And on September 15th, 2021, allegedly, the two brothers hopped in the whip and headed to the Five Guys restaurant. Contario was working that day and was doing closing shifts. As the brothers pulled up, they sat in the parking lot. Contario and another co-worker were taking out the trash for the night, getting ready to finish up. Walking to the dumpster. When the car door opened, someone hopped out and opened fire before running back to the vehicle and taking off. Witnesses quickly called MPD, who responded to the scene at about 12:50 a.m. on 1315 Ridgeway Road. A young man was laying on the ground, suffering from 2 bullet wounds. He was rushed to Regional 1 Hospital, where unfortunately he would not survive his injuries. The victim was identified as 17-year-old Contario Sevion. As family received the news of the young man's passing, they were in shock. Police would start investigating the scene the next morning and found multiple shell casings. Contario's co-worker, who was with him that night, said he heard about 15 to 20 shots. The young man's family was frustrated. Memphis police contacted them hours after he already passed away and waited so long to investigate the crime scene. They felt as though the important evidence would have been gone. Police kept talking to the young man's co-worker. He would state he thinks he recognized the shooter as a former co-worker, 16-year-old Dejamon Payne. The community and Contario's friends and family will hold a celebration of life ceremony for the young man, where everyone spoke highly of him and stated they couldn't believe he lost his life while being at work. MPD had a suspect, but due to the age at first, they could not release his name and information to the public. They moved forward in the investigation and eventually picked up the two brothers for questioning. One of the two admitted they drove to the restaurant with a blick and shots went off. It was alleged that a juvenile jumped out the passenger seat and started shooting. Xavion confessed the blick was his, but he did not have a permit for it, and someone pointed him out as the driver. The 19-year-old was charged with facilitation of first-degree murder and gave a $150,000 bail. His little brother was held at a juvenile facility pending charges, but eventually he would be waived up and charged as an adult. And his charges range from first-degree murder, attempt, handgun violations, and more. Once that happened, his name was released to the media. 16-year-old Dejamon Payne. Contario's family couldn't believe it and stated all three of the young men knew each other and were cool once upon a time. They didn't know what went wrong. Rest in peace to Contario. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to his family. As for the brothers, this case hasn't made the trial yet, and they are innocent until proven otherwise. It's sad the young man was on track to being a father and possibly somebody great in the community. And the end of his life comes down to a petty beef, allegedly. And kids taking out kids, not giving each other a chance to grow and mature. It's not even fighting no more between young men. Everything got to go straight to the blicks. I hope one day we will wake up and see the vicious cycle and the setup we are up against. Losing our babies and women at childbirth, our young men and fathers to the streets or prison, our young girls either by jealous lovers or so-called friends. We are boxed in all around, and everyone sees it but us. Until we change our mindset and the way we view each other, nothing will ever change. We always say how strong of a people we are, but are we really? When we can't even work out our problems in our own community and get our kids in the right mindset for the future. Hopefully one day we really will be strong. So remember, we got to succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, rest in peace, that young man. This was a tough story to get through. You feel me? 17 years old, got his first job, had a kid on the way, and I put myself in that mindset when I was 16, got my first job at Wendy's, had my daughter on the way. I had certain things going on in the streets, and my life could have been took the same way, man. So when I do these stories, you know, even though I'm speaking present, I'm also speaking through experience. And I feel the pain of the family, you feel me? And at the end of the day, man, the young man and them who charged with the situation, you know, allegedly they knew each other. I don't know where it went wrong at. But at the end of the day, man, I'm going to leave it like this. They innocent until proven otherwise. But young men, we got to think about what we doing out here to each other. You know, because once you pour that blick out and decide to take a life, you can't take that back, man. But yeah, rest in peace to Contario. My prayers and condolences to his family. Y'all already know this is another episode of Hood Tales. Leave it in the comments. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.